I'm Brittany Lewis with Forbes Breaking News. At Wednesday's House Appropriations Committee hearing, Congressman James Comer voiced opposition to H.R. 7674, the Ensuring Oversight Access at the Postal Service Act. The bill, quote, would prohibit the Postal Service from preventing members of Congress from visiting Postal Service facilities for official purposes. Comer said the bill stems from what he calls false Democratic claims that Postmaster General Louis DeJoy was trying to unduly affect the 2020 election. Comer went on to accuse the new DHS Disinformation Governance Board Chief Nina Jankowicz of furthering such claims. Jankowicz has become a lightning rod for members of the Republican Party as of late. Let's listen in to Comer's remarks.
I thank the gentleman. He yields back. I now recognize Mr. Comer, the distinguished ranking member of the committee.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm opposed to H.R. 7674. First, the Postal Service has raised important concerns about the bill. Letting members of Congress stroll through postal facilities on the eve of a federal election would create serious Hatch Act risks for their employees. In fact, the Postal Service detailed these concerns to this committee a couple of years ago. The Postal Service even offered to, at any time, schedule staff visits to postal facilities and to, at any time, provide members of Congress with briefings to address their questions and concerns properly. I've attended one of my postal mail handling facilities in Paducah, Kentucky, and they had absolutely no trouble touring that facility and getting a briefing from the high-level officials at the Postal Service. But this bill stems from the Democrats' bogus claims during the 2020 election season that Postmaster General DeJoy was trying to steal the election. A big lie. Members were trying to schedule visits within 45 days of the election or even showed up unannounced, adding unnecessary stress on staff trying to focus on ensuring the efficient processing of the mail. An interesting note, the Biden administration's new disinformation czar, Nina Jankowicz, pushed the Democrats' postal conspiracy theory. Maybe she's such a disinformation expert because she has peddled so much of it. Today's bill is unnecessarily and overly broad, and I plan to oppose it. Encourage members to oppose this bill. I yield back.
The gentleman yields back. Who else seeks recognition?
Chairman.
Mr. Norman, you're now recognized.
Thank you, Ms. Maloney. I, too, oppose this bill, and again, this is an unfunded mandate. I would like to enter into the record unanimous consent from Peter Pasteur, letter May 10th this year. He's Vice President of Government Relations and Public Policy. In this letter, he states that this bill, if adopted as presently drafted, would significantly disrupt the Postal Service's current acquisition of the NGDV, the Next Generation Delivery Vehicles fleet, and consequently would endanger delivery to your constituents and entail significant
Without objection.
financial cost and force other issues that we don't, that are not good for the Postal Service. Request unanimous consent. I yield back.
The gentleman yields back. Who else seeks recognition? Well, I now recognize myself, and I'd like to thank my colleague, Mr. Conley, for introducing this important bill. Given the Postal Service role in delivering the mail, including the ballots of millions of Americans, it is critical that the Postal Service remain free from political influence. However, ensuring political neutrality does not excuse the Postal Service from congressional oversight. In recent years, the Postal Service has refused to allow members of Congress from both parties to perform in-person oversight at postal facilities within 45 days of an election. The Postal Service claims that this prohibition is the result of Hatch Act requirements. But the Hatch Act has no such prohibition for members of Congress.